She didn't look like a typical music star.
You look at TV and you like, okay, I don't see no big woman on this TV, you know, where the big girls at?
Yet Missy Elliott became one of the industry's most successful figures.
Missy will come out and do something completely different and blow you away.
Missy will go down in history as one of the most artistic, creative, musical artists.
She's in a class of her own. There's nobody out there that does what she does.
But her success hid a haunted past.
The first thing I can remember is my dad stomping my mother in the face with some combat boots on.
I could always hear her saying, "Please, Dad, don't kill my mom. Please don't kill my mom."
Music helped mask her pain and became a passion Missy turned into an award-winning career.
She's defied every conventional idea of what a female superstar should be.
Missy's future seemed limitless until a health scare threatened to cut short her career.
I ended up in the hospital for like a month and a half. They thought I wasn't gonna live.
Now, a complete and revealing look at a woman who overcame all obstacles to fulfill her childhood dream. A story filled with talent, tragedy, and triumph.
Holla, ain't no stopping me.
This is Lifetime's intimate portrait of Missy Elliott. On the set of her video shoot, Missy Elliott is reaching new heights.
Cut it. Bring in the ladder. Bring in the ladder, guys.
With 5 Grammy nominations for her album Under Construction and the 2003 release of This Is Not a Test, Missy remains in firm control of a career few would have thought possible.
None of us came from, millionaire homes or, the fabulous life. We all came from hard times, you know what I mean? And I think that's what really helps people once you get there, once you get a taste of it, you don't want to go back.
You can't help but speculate that what she had been through in her own life gave her this determination and this ambition.
Missy Elliott's early beginnings were an unlikely start to a future of fame and fortune. She was born Melissa Elliott in Portsmouth, Virginia, the only child of Patricia and Ronnie Elliott. A self-described clown, Missy's love of performing was evident early on.
She'd get on the bed. She was about 3 years old. She'd stand on the bed and she'd sing and she'd sing and she'd sing. And we would say, okay, that's enough. Let's get down. We got to go and we got to do certain things. Oh no, she wasn't finished.
When I started writing songs, I was probably like 4, and I would go outside and get on the trash can, and I would sing, and people would come past and they'd be clapping, honking the horn, and I would just get louder and louder and louder until it would get dark, till my mother made me come in.
She was always smart, always. I mean smart. But I didn't know that she would be, I ask her right now, where do you get these things? Or where is your mind, because she's so creative.
I don't think I had one of those, I want to be a policewoman, or I want to be a doctor, lawyer thing. It was more like, from the time I can remember, wanting to be a superstar.
It was a fantasy she would repeat throughout her childhood. Missy's dreams of stardom hid her secret shame. At the age of 8, Missy was repeatedly molested by an older, distant cousin.
We trusted him. It was, he was older, he was 16, almost 17, and we looked up to him, and we thought that if he said it was cool to do, it was cool to do. And it begun with the mama and daddy, let's play mamas and daddies. And I'm like, okay, he says it's okay, but I don't feel like it's okay. And I went through this for a whole year, basically every day straight.
She kept it all a secret. I guess she didn't want me to know because she knew it would hurt me, and she knew that I would go and seek charges.
I was totally shocked. But I was hurt too, because that's a little girl, that's a little child. And to do that to her, and I never knew it.
You kind of sweep it under the rug just to avoid situations. But like I said, they never leave your mind, and they do play a part of your life forever.
It would not be her only experience with abuse. Missy was an ever-present witness to the violence her mother suffered at the hands of her father.
You wake up and hear them arguing in the middle of the night. You see my dad put a gun to my mother's head and he make us take off our clothes.
He would tell me I had to unclothe, strip naked, and he would take a knife and cut it down my back.
He like pulled her arm out of socket and left her in the kitchen just sitting there.
And Missy, I could always hear her saying, please, Dad, don't kill my mom. Please don't kill my mom. She's not gonna do anything to you, Dad. Please don't kill my mom.
As crazy as it was, he never hit me. He never, but I felt like you beating on my mother, you're basically beating me. I spent most of my years with him running to my aunt's house or my uncle's house, whether it's snow, sleet, rain, you know, to try to get help.
It made you angry, it made you upset, because they didn't deserve anything like that.
Like many battered women, Patricia Elliott could not summon the courage to leave her husband.
I kept saying, well, maybe it was something that I did to push him that way. Maybe it was me. He'll probably get better. I don't really want to leave him because it's got to get better. We got a family here. We don't want to be a split family.
I think she stayed because she wanted her marriage to work. And, you know, sometimes people do change.
She wanted to make sure I was okay, and as long as I was okay, she could take the punches.
I was a very good actor. I smiled. If you saw me, you would never, ever know it. But when I got home in the afternoons from work, that's when Missy would see the real me. I would take off the smiles, and there would be the deep hurt.
For Missy, music provided the escape from her turbulent home life. She found comfort in the uplifting music of the Clark Sisters, a gospel group.
When they would argue, I would turn up my radio and just totally block it out.
Everybody has to have something to take you through. There has to be a song, there has to be a word, there has to be a video, something to pull you through.
The way they sing, you can hear the sincerity and the real spiritualness that's there in them. It's something about them that take me through the roughest times.
But by the time Missy entered junior high school, the constant physical and emotional abuse became more than she and her mother could bear.
It was just so painful that I wanted to commit suicide. I didn't want to live any longer because I was tired. I was tired of going to work and smiling and going to church and people thinking that everything was fine. I just couldn't take it anymore.
You get tired of someone doing things to you that you don't deserve. So you finally say, hey, I got a child to think of too.
As time went by, and then he throw me across the chairs and throw me down the hall and drag me down the hall. And I said, okay, all those clothes that we got packed in this closet, we're out of here.
That Friday, I got up to go to school, and she told me go to the bus stop. I went to the bus stop, and I saw my father drive past, and when he drove past, all of a sudden, she came behind him, probably like 10 minutes later, and said, get in the car. And when we drove back to the house, it was like 2 U-Hauls, my aunt, my uncles, all of them was out there, and they was steady pulling stuff from off the truck. And when my father came home, there was a blanket, a fork, a spoon, and a plate, and dust.
Coming up next, Missy learns in order to survive, she has to succeed.
That's why I do what I do, because I'm trying to move my family from out the hood.
And later, Missy breaks the mold in a groundbreaking music video.
Wow, what's this new thing? A female, she's in a garbage bag and blah, blah, blah. That's crazy.
When Lifetime's intimate portrait of Missy Elliott continues. This This is Lifetime's intimate portrait of Missy Elliott. By the time Missy turned 13, she and her mother had fled their abusive home life and were out on their own. Finances were tight, and making ends meet was a challenge.
We learned how to roll pennies. Missy would take and put the pennies in the rollers, and I would write the names on it. And I would put them in this big plastic bag, and I'd take them to the bank, and we would get our money from that. And that's how we made it.
Despite the struggle, Missy's creativity thrived. As a teenager, she penned her early lyrics wherever she could.
Missy started writing her own songs. It got so that she would write on the walls, on the floor, everywhere she could write on. I said, Missy, they're gonna put us out of this apartment, or we're gonna pay an awful lot of money if you don't stop writing on the floors and on the walls.
Missy took her songs to local talent shows, which she entered without her mother's permission.
You have this mother who's really in the church, and she sing every Sunday, and she sing the church happy, but her daughter is at every talent show there is dancing, booty shaking, whatever. It was just like whatever's going down.
I didn't believe in the rock and roll, the hip hop, none of that music. You only heard gospel songs in the place that we lived in. So Missy was all over town doing all these talent shows. Well, lo and behold, it finally caught up with her because she was getting too popular. And then it started coming through that everybody was talking about her from all of the different high schools. So she couldn't hide it any further. But she didn't want me to know.
Her reaction was, that's not what you're going to do. And it was like, yes, I am.
Before graduating high school, Missy formed Sista, a girl group that went on to attract the attention of Jodeci member Devontae Swing. With her mother's blessing, Missy and Sista signed a record deal, and backed by Elektra, the band shot a video.
Sista was supposed to be the biggest break. Like, to tell your mother, I'm going to get a record deal, and then you actually, nearly months later, you in New York, you got this deal, and everything is just seemed like it's kind of moving quickly. I'm thinking we on top of the world, we were one of the hottest groups ever.
She was so excited. They had the ponytails, and they put the little tattoo on their legs and the pants up, and when the first video came out, we were so excited. I said, oh my God, she really, really did it.
Sista gave Missy exposure to some of her favorite artists, including Mary J. Blige, who made a cameo on the group's only album recorded in 1994.
The first time I heard Sista, it was incredible, but basically in the Sista group, all you heard was Missy.
When I felt like I had something special, I think was when I met Mary J. Blige. She pulled me to the side and she said, you're the superstar of this group. And she was like, they're beautiful girls, but it's something about you that stands out without having to be light-skinned with the long hair. Like, you shine.
It was a change. She was fun. She wasn't coming out a big girl trying to be sexy. She was being fun and bubbly and different and animated, and nobody had never seen a female do that before.
By that time, my self-esteem was nothing. So to have her come to me and say, you shine, you're the superstar, I felt like it might be something there.
But Sista's success was never realized. Their album never released.
It was like an emotional roller coaster. To us, that was our baby. That was our blood, sweat, and tears.
After they broke up, she felt like, oh man, as soon as you take a step up, you get knocked down 5 more steps.
Everything had stopped. Her dream that she had, it stopped. But she said, no, I'm going back out there and I'm going to try it again. I may not try it as an artist, I'll try it as a writer, but I'm going to be out there. And she did.
And when the group broke up, I knew she wouldn't quit, and I knew that, her talent would come through and shine regardless, because she knew she was into it, she liked it, she wanted to stay in it, so she even had to work extra hard.
It was then that Missy focused on what would become the defining professional relationship of her career, her partnership with music producer Timbaland, Tim Mosley.
He played some tracks he'd done, and I was like, wow, like, even then, he was so far ahead of the game.
My first impression of Missy when I first met Missy was, here's a girl who's just like me, just love music.
From that day, we was like inseparable, and it was just the chemistry that we had. We felt like it was a puzzle. You know, he had the beats, but he was missing somebody to write, and I had to write, and I was missing somebody to do the beats, and we ain't separated since.
The duo got their first big break in 1996 when they were hired to score for Aaliyah, already a growing star in her own right.
Aaliyah project, everybody kind of, it was, you know, we kind of proved ourselves with that. Like, wow, they can handle 8 tracks on Aaliyah, and you know, both together have a different kind of sound, and the world embrace it. We trust it.
The album, 1 in a Million, went double platinum. Suddenly, Missy and Timbaland found themselves with their pick of projects.
Once Missy showed she was the coolest thing out there, and as a producer and as a songwriter, that she could collaborate, that she could bring different things to different artists, you know, that's when your phone starts ringing.
As a producer, she has a talent to create music that you feel spiritually and emotionally, and is like real sexy and sensual in a sense.
It was Sean Combs who gave Missy an early opportunity to showcase her talent as a vocalist. Missy's brief appearance on this P. Diddy production of Gina Thompson's video caught everyone's attention.
Gonna be my pal like Shazam.
We heard this girl in the Gina Thompson single, and she was amazing. And I remember going, we've got to find this girl, find her. We want to offer her a deal.
She didn't sound like anything else out there. Her little signature laugh thing was the sort of the trademark. Even in just a couple of lines or a little break on somebody else's song, everybody immediately started to notice.
Labels encouraged her to start a solo career, but Missy wasn't so sure.
It wasn't about, you know, me feeling like I didn't have the look. I was more scared to be by myself, and I was so used to having a group. And it was like now everything would be dependent on me, everything would rely on me, and I don't know if I was ready for that.
But her modesty hit a greater goal.
I wanted really more to be the head of a label instead of being an artist.
She loves to, you know, be in control and have control of her whole world.
Knowing what record production was about, songwriting was about, she wanted some more control of her destiny. She wanted to be in a situation where she had that sort of creative input and wasn't just signed as an artist and then subject to somebody else's direction completely.
Missy turned down lucrative offers while she searched for a deal that would allow her the control she longed for.
Missy was very, very savvy and shrewd even back then, because her recording deal as an artist came only as a side to her having her own label deal.
By the end of 1996, Missy not only had a record contract with Elektra Entertainment, she also was head of her own label, Goldmine Inc.
She knew in her heart what she truly wanted to do, and she really didn't set out to be an artist, even though that's what they wanted her to do. She stuck to her guns and did what she felt in her heart, and when that time came for her to do that, when she felt good about doing it, she did it.
I think it's so important to see a project from beginning to end. You have to be a part of everything from the right into the visual. If you're a real entertainer or a real artist, a lot of times you want to be involved with all of that because nobody can see your vision like you can see your own.
Coming up next, Missy challenges the perception of what a female artist should look like.
Missy's image is sexy without her having to take her clothes off.
And later, Missy copes with a tragic loss.
There's not a day that goes past that I don't think about her.
When we return to Lifetime's intimate portrait of Missy Elliott. And now we return to Lifetime's intimate portrait of Missy Elliott. Is music writer, producer, and performer.
Work it!
And now, as the head of her own label, Goldmine Inc., Missy was primed to launch her solo career with the 1997 release of Supa Dupa Fly.
When me and Timbaland first started my album, the first album, Supa Dupa Fly, it was like, wow, kind of like a dream for the both of us.
Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly, super duper fly.
But when it came time to shoot the video for the album's first single, The Rain, Missy faced a dilemma.
To turn on your TV and all you see is, you know, the slim girls with the little two-piece on with the long hair, and you like, well, I know I ain't getting no two-piece.
Ever the innovator, Missy took a risk on a new and unique approach.
I didn't have nothing to prove. It was like, let's do it. Put me in a big blow-up suit, whatever.
It was, you know, like a, wow, what's this new thing? A female, she's in a garbage bag and blah, blah, blah. That's crazy.
If you look back at Super Duper Fly, when people was making videos, nobody had the lip coming way out here and then the balloons thing and all that. It took her to really, you know, say, look, this is something new. This is who this person is. You know what I mean? She's totally
a huge success.
It was a hugely exciting record. People just went nuts when that record. Those are the moments that you point to, the ones that make you pull your car over in traffic and say, I gotta listen to this.
Her mark as Missy Misdemeanor Elliott and made her, you know, known to the world as an artist as well as a producer.
Missy's career took off with the platinum success of Super Duper Fly. And in 1998, Missy was invited to join the women of the prestigious Lilith Fair Tour, the first rap artist ever on the tour.
There was no...
Each subsequent production, single-handedly raising the bar for the entire music industry and changing the perception of what a female artist should look like.
Missy's image is sexy without her having to take her clothes off, because it's so unique, so flavorful, so different, so edgy, so artistic. She's the queen of having things custom done and setting the trends.
Here we go, and 1, 2, 3, down, and roll up,
More important to Missy than impressing her critics was pleasing her family.
Everywhere she goes, when she's performing, she says, Mom, did you see me? What do you think? And so when I started seeing her on the Rolling Stones and Peoples, and I was like, well, oh my word, I can't believe this. My daughter is now on the cover page of all these different magazines.
The first time I saw Missy, I laughed, I hollered, I jumped up, I hugged her. I tell her I was excited about Tina Turner. That's my age. And I look at her and I said, the people are excited about her the same way because she's great.
But Missy's public persona hid her true demeanor.
The thing about Missy that people don't really know about her is Missy is one of the shyest people in the music industry, and it really takes a lot for her to get up on stage or to perform or to do the Missy misdemeanor thing. It takes her a little bit to work it up to really like show people that side of her, and that's a beautiful thing, you know what I'm saying, to still have that sense of humility and shyness.
Coming up next, Missy's musical wish is granted.
Winning a Grammy means you've arrived.
And later, Missy faces another challenge.
The doctor checked my blood pressure 2 or 3 times and he said, do you know how high your pressure is? We might have to keep you.
This is Lifetime's intimate portrait of Missy Elliott. This is Lifetime's intimate portrait of Missy Elliott. By 2001, Missy Elliott was a breakout star of the hip-hop world. With 3 top-selling albums already to her name, she had overcome a childhood of physical and sexual abuse to serve as an icon in the music industry.
There's nobody out there that does what she does. She can sing, she can rhyme, she is a writer, she is a producer. She truly is multi-talented.
It was clear from the beginning that Missy was incredibly resilient and incredibly driven.
Her hard work was rewarded in 2001 when Missy won her first Grammy Award for Best Rap Solo Performance for the song Get Your Freak On.
God, the top of the line major, because you feel like this is not just in the hip hop world. Now you've crossed over to a whole nother world.
When Missy won her first Grammy, I was like, I can't believe this. She has won a Grammy. I didn't even know what it looked like. I said, can you sit at home so I can see what it looked like? She says, yeah, it's gonna be coming.
For Missy to be able to do stuff as weird and unconventional and surprising as she does, and have the sort of pop success that she does, and be embraced by an organization like the Grammys is a particularly gratifying thing.
I'm excited because what parent wouldn't want to be excited to see the child has come from where we've come, and she's steady climbing. She's worked really hard, and I think that it's finally come. It's paid off.
In addition to her own successful solo career, Missy continued to write and produce for other top artists and was recruited for such high-profile projects as her custom remake of Lady Marmalade for the movie Moulin Rouge.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Moulin Rouge.
She's worked with so many different artists. You know, everyone's waiting in line because they want Missy to either write something for them or produce something on them or sing a little thing or rhyme on this track. She's giving something completely different to the game.
But even her well-deserved commercial and financial success could not help Missy forget the trauma of her childhood.
You think as you get older, those, that part of your life go away, but it never does. Going through the situations that I went through plays a part in the things that I write unconsciously.
I never knew Missy was hurting because her music overwhelmed everything that was saddening her. I know all about her family, but a lot of that stuff she kept inside. She just really now should come out now and open and talk about it.
Missy was determined to make a difference. She became a spokesperson for Break the Cycle, an organization dedicated to the fight against domestic violence.
I want to be a part of something that I'm familiar with and feel like I'm contributing to somebody or helping somebody go, through a situation that I've been through.
When Missy heard that there was an organization specifically helping young kids break this cycle and showing them that there were, people out there who cared and that there were options for them, she immediately wanted to lend her voice to that organization.
I would have kept this secret forever. I would have taken it to my grave. I would never have told anybody about this secret. But Missy chose to pull it out of the closet. She chose to tell the world how it was, because I was in denial. I didn't want to deal with it. I felt it was my failure. And she, right now, she is constantly teaching me that it's okay. It wasn't your fault. You didn't deserve to be beaten on.
With model Iman, Missy created and sold her own lipstick, the proceeds of which, over $1 million, benefited Break the Cycle. Missy's charitable efforts helped her come to terms with her childhood rape, as well as the years of abuse her father inflicted on the family.
The story of, everything that she survived is one that she's always wanted to tell and has always wanted to be very vocal about that. And I think for her, it's been about mainly giving back and maybe allowing other young people to hear her story, and maybe that could provide some ray of light, some hope for them.
You have to find some kind of forgiveness, because I think he does realize what he's done, at least I hope he has, and what kind of impact, how it impacted our lives, what kind of strain it was on us.
It's almost like she's an engine that is fueling her. It's saying, you did all those things to me in the past. You've hurt me in the past. I don't have to live in that life anymore. I can plan a life that I can be the best that I can. I can be an example.
But just as Missy had come to accept her troubled upbringing, she was dealt another devastating blow. In August of 2001, Missy's close friend and colleague, Aaliyah, was tragically killed in a plane crash.
My friendship with Aaliyah was always like, this is my little sister. There's not a day that goes past that I don't think about her.
Missy talks about Aaliyah constantly. She says, Mom, I'll be on the plane. She says, and I can see Aaliyah face. She says, Mom, she's with me all the time. She says, Mom, I just feel like that she's just around me at all times. And if you notice that when Missy goes on tours, when she goes to different places, she always has something on with Aaliyah, because she says she will never, ever forget her.
She pretty much dedicates every performance, every show to Aaliyah's memory. It definitely had a very lasting impact on her.
It was a difficult time for Missy. As she struggled to deal with the loss, she faced yet another personal challenge. At a routine medical checkup, doctors informed Missy she was a ticking time bomb.
He checked my pressure like 2 or 3 times and he said, do you know how high your pressure is? We might have to keep you.
The doctors called me and they said, you know what, Missy's gonna have to lose that weight. It's not good for her. When she's on stage, it's gonna be even harder.
He explained to me and he said, a lot of times you have heart attacks, strokes, whatever, and the biggest thing is high blood pressure is a silent killer. And you're sitting in here right now not knowing how that your pressure is so high that you're supposed to be in a hospital, and that's how quick it take you out of here, because it's a silent killer.
And I told her, I said, look, I need you, and I need you to be around.
I don't have no sisters and brothers, and my mother is all I got, and I'm all she got. I want to be around, you know, for her, and I know she want to be around for me. So I decided that I had to lose that weight because the doctors say you're gonna have to come down.
Then we said, you know what? We need to start working on a diet, trainer, and what have you.
The next day I was like, okay, I was on the treadmill running for dear life.
Coming up next, Missy joins Madonna to sing the praises of denim.
Missy was so excited. She says, Mom, I'm gonna work with Madonna. Oh, Mom, do you know who Madonna is? I said, yes, I know who Madonna is.
When we return to the intimate portrait of Missy Elliott. We now return to Lifetime's intimate portrait of Missy Elliott. 2001 was a difficult year for Missy Elliott. After the death of her friend Aaliyah, Missy found her own life was in danger. Although her weight had never been an issue to her success, it did pose a risk to her health, so Missy got serious about getting in shape.
Missy went out and got her a trainer, and she started eating right, and my God.
When I first decided I needed to lose the weight, I was overdoing it. I was going in like 4 times a day, sometimes an hour, sometimes more than an hour. It was like I was obsessed. I would lie in the bed, roll over, and be like, I gotta go back to the gym. Now I go in the morning and I go at night and I do the Stepmaster, the treadmill, I do the weights, whatever. I still eat McDonald's. I had some McDonald's today, I ain't even gonna lie. But I make up for it because by the end of the night, I got to go to the gym. I feel a lot better with losing weight. It feels good to be able to go up the steps and not breathe all heavy. I love it.
Missy's new outlook caught the attention of mainstream advertisers, adding yet another dimension to her career.
I got the fresh kick, thick hips, best believe me. And Madonna about to hurt them like a tag team. You want lovers and I Gap jeans. We walk by, people ask where you get them jeans.
Missy was so excited. She says, Mom, I'm gonna work with Madonna. Oh, Mom, do you know who Madonna is? I said, yes, I know who Madonna is.
Get into the groove. Let me show you some moves. That's to take it from me. Get into the groove.
Other opportunities have included the film world. In late 2003, Missy made her first acting appearance in the hip-hop flick Honey.
I said I want Honey Daniels. Duh.
Turned out that Missy Elliott really has genius comedic timing. Like, she took what was on the page and rewrote it for herself, and it was just genius.
boom, boom, ba-dum. Look, when you get in touch with Honey Daniels, you call me. You need to call MC Hammer, let him know you're stealing his stuff.
And I think Missy Elliott is a highlight in the film and a very pleasant surprise as an actress.
But it was Missy's win at the 2003 MTV Video Music Awards that really meant the most, the recognition she deserved as a visionary in her field.
God. I got so used to not winning that I had forgot that I hadn't won any at all. Like, so to win, it was like happy, but then like, wow, why did it take this long?
That award was a long time coming because there's no question that she pushed the technology and pushed the visuals of video in a way that few other artists in the last decade have.
Missy used the opportunity to acknowledge the loss of her good friend.
I dedicate this one right here to Aaliyah. Aaliyah, we love you, we miss you. Thank y'all, thank y'all.
There will likely be more awards to come. On her album, This Is Not a Test, released in late 2003, Missy continues to challenge convention. The first video from the album, Pass That Dutch, is another Missy Elliott spectacle.
Got it. From beginning to end, from day one of Super Duper Fly to This Is Not a Test, the new album, they have allowed me control from videos to my album. They never suggested me changing anything.
Despite the rise of her career, there is one area of Missy's life that reverberates of her past, the ability to trust and love.
Relationships, I can have them or I can't have them. You know, I'm content with where I'm at by myself. It's nothing that I'm missing. I feel like one day when a relationship come, it'll come. But for the most part of it, my love is knowing that my mother's happy, I'm happy.
I think everything that Missy has gone through in her life personally, it drives her to go to the studio and stay in there for nights and days. It just drives her to be Missy. It drives her to be creative. It just takes her to the next level.
Missy is content with her work and the respect of her peers.
I think she made it to the point where people now are not scared to even come out with a crazy idea versus, you know, back in the days, people be like, nah, that ain't gonna work, that's too different. People now are like, I'm gonna come out with anything and see if it works. And I think that's what she did. She opened the doors for people that are very different artistically.
It's amazing to just see how far she's come and how she was able to, time and time again, pick herself up and keep moving forward. I mean, I think that, more than anything, is a testament to how strong-willed she is.
Missy's never been lazy, and she's never gotten formulaic, and she's never gotten predictable. And, you know, those are the ones that stick around for a while.
You know, I've called her for tracks for my next album. That's how, you know, how good she is as a producer to pick up the phone and call another producer. That means you're really giving them that amount of respect. She's one of my favorite producers.
From her early beginnings as a child whose love of music helped her cope with an abusive home life, to the artist whose groundbreaking videos have become the standard to beat, Missy Elliott has proven herself to be a lasting force in the music industry, a talented artist, writer, and producer for whom the future knows no boundaries.
I'm a overcomer, I'm a soldier, and I believe in God, and kind of mad at what happened when I was younger, but at the same token, it made me stronger in everything I've been through. But that's the biggest thing I want people to know about Missy. I'm like a brick wall, I'm too hard to break, but I'm not perfect, and I do make mistakes. So I don't wish anything different, because I think if it had been different, I wouldn't be here.